Good afternoon, everyone. Constable Lee here, and we have a special interview with a local person who was in the Marine Corps back in the 60s and also served as a constable in Sterling Township, Wayne County in 1968.
Well, actually, 60 into 66 through to 74.
66, 74. So this is Sergeant Don Wilmont.
Yes, sir.
And he served in the Marine Corps. What years were you in the Marine Corps?
I was in Marine Corps Aviation. I went in 1962 and got out in 67.
Oh, okay, 67. You were in country.
I had 2 years stationed in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was a crew chief on a C-119 flying boxcar.
Okay.
And from that point, I got orders for New River. And I said to my colonel, "Sir, I'm a fixed wing. I don't know anything about helicopters."
Right.
He put his arm on my shoulder and he said, "You'll learn, son."
You'll learn. How old were you at that time?
I was born 44, so I would have been 20. Well, when I head overseas, I was 21.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of my window gunners, right out of boot camp, they became window gunners on the helicopters. They called me the old man because I was 21 years old.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
So,
yeah. Because some guys were younger.
but I did 13 months over in Vietnam. I was in helicopters. I had 360 combat missions. I was awarded 18 air medals. I was shot down 3 times. And
let's back up there. Like most people don't even get shot down once, but you survived 3 crashes in helicopter in country. So what was that like?
It always was that when you got shot down, if the crash didn't kill you,
right,
your helicopter usually caught on fire. They were made out of magnesium,
right,
most of the parts, because of weight,
right,
or the enemy was there to shoot you. 3 times, my guardian angels, you better believe in guardian angels, because they took care of me.
Yes, sir.
When I do die, they're going to say you kept us so damn busy in Vietnam keeping you alive. And I was trained well as far as my helicopter went, and I always made it a point
right
to keep all my
right.
combat
His business
gear.
card, it has a picture of the helicopter that he served on. And an interesting fact, I'm doing a peacekeeping detail here at St. Tikhon's Monastery, which used to have an orphanage back in the day when it was founded. The orphanage is closed, but one of the people who graduated from that orphanage or were rescued from that orphanage was Igor Sikorsky, who then went on to build Sikorsky helicopters in Connecticut. So I think that's an interesting connection.
It was quite a combination. With his helicopter, we were really the first ever used in combat. In Korea, they had some early versions that were on medevacs. Once we got to Vietnam, I did a lot of medevac flying, but mostly carrying troops in and out of areas where the enemy was. And
how many people could fit in one of those?
Well, in our helicopter, we were originally designed basically when they had the space shuttles come down in the ocean, we had a winch on the side for picking the actual unit right up. But we could carry 8 Marines fully equipped with all their gear. And a lot of times we were evacuating villages, we'd get up to 20 of the South Vietnamese in there.
Wow.
And it was a sad situation because they were running from their enemy, and maybe they had pots and pans, or sometimes they tried to get on with a chicken. You're landed, you're under heavy fire from the enemy, and you got these people running, trying to get in your helicopter, and after you get about 20, you know you can't lift off with any more. You've got to actually throw 1 or 2 out, or all the stuff, their worldly possessions, we just threw it out the window.
So at 360, 300 plus missions, that's basically you're on a mission every day.
Well,
for 13 months.
I actually had 400 and some missions, but 360 were designed and clarified as combat missions.
Right.
And a combat mission was usually when you took fire from the enemy. Medevacs they were always a hot zone.
Right.
And the enemy learned that instead of shooting you to kill you in the chest or in the head, they shot you in the leg
Right.
or an arm, because they knew within a couple minutes a helicopter medevac would be coming in to get you out.
Right.
Then, if they could shoot down the helicopter or kill the crew or whatever,
Right.
I think they at that time they got 10 acres of land
That
up
was like
near
a bonus.
up
Right.
near Hanoi. So
Right.
plus there was bounties on us, door gunners,
Mhm.
all the crew members.
Right.
We had bounties on
Right.
us, but I had extensive training. I learned to establish my perimeters, knowing where I'm going into. Yeah, the government still won't admit this, but we know it now with looking at records and all. But if we went down to the flight line 4 o'clock in the morning, usually when we got our helicopter ready to go, we go in to learn what our mission was the day. Well, if there was a wicker basket in the middle of the floor, you knew right away. You took your dog tags off, dropped them in. You took your ID out of your wallet,
Right.
put it in. You knew you were going to Laos.
Right.
And that happened many times,
Many times.
before they would ever admit that we were in Laos, but we were there.
Right.
But anyway, that training, I learned the combat rules, regulations, and I learned how to survive.
Right.
And
That's
as
important
crews, I usually flew with the colonel or the major. I had a reputation of being able to handle myself in combat very good. So they wanted me as their door gunner.
Right.
And flying with the older men,
Mhm.
the majors and the colonels, they were well experienced.
Right.
So we had a good team. Somebody said to me once, I think a total of 84 hits on my helicopter.
Wow.
And they said, well, how come you were always getting shot? I said, because flying in the front of the formation, you were the first into the zones. If it was a hot zone, you were the first to find out.
Right.
I did have one in my helicopter. I had one sergeant shot through the chest and killed instantly. I had one Major Patterson shot through the face. It took his eye out.
Right.
Luckily, we were lifting off at an angle that didn't get into the brain. And he lived, he lost his military career and all that, but he was a tremendous pilot. I was so fortunate when I was flying with him, because
Right.
he and I were actually shot down twice.
Wow.
And we survived, but we're here.
You're here. And then you left your combat duties to come back to Pennsylvania, and then found yourself in law enforcement.
Well, when I came back, I was, what the expression was gung ho.
Right.
Every day you had a rush.
Right.
You had to worry about, number one, the helicopter failing, equipment wise. You had to worry about pilot error. A lot of helicopters crash, pilot error, and you had to worry about the enemy trying to kill you.
Right.
So you had that fear in you every day. Well, when I got back to the States, they never heard of PTSD. Or they didn't know what it was.
Right. They didn't know what it was.
They just know that Don Wilmont wasn't the Don Wilmont who went to the war.
Right.
And I wasn't. I went over as a nice, quiet farm boy, loving everybody.
Right.
When I come back, I hated the world. I hated everybody. Well, you know what it was like. They were spitting on us in the airports, and
it was a tough transition.
You got to the point where you didn't even want to admit that you were a Vietnam veteran.
Right.
Well, once I got back, I got back in October, and for an election at the local in Sterling. Now, this is a remote time, too, way back then. There was no phones, no communication. You want to make a phone call.
Not much has changed in Sterling Township either. My friend is a constable there now, and it's a very rural, small township.
Well, you just take 40 years off of that, you'll know a difference. But anyway, they came to me one day and they said, we got an election coming up, and we have to have a constable there, and our constable is sick.
Okay.
He's dying, which he did die.
Okay.
But anyway, they said, could you fill in for him?
Okay.
And I said, well, tell me what I got to do. They said, all you do is go to the polls, which was in one of the Oddfellow buildings, and keep order.
Right.
So I went there and went through that election day and everything. Well, they came and said, well, would you be willing to be constable in Sterling Township? And I said, again, tell me what I got to do. Well, the answer was, you're constable.
Right.
If there's a problem, you take care of it.
It's always good when the municipality asks for your help.
Well, at that time, there were 3 supervisors,
Right.
and they met, let's say you were one, they met in your house 1 month, the next house was my month,
Right.
and then the other supervisor
Sure.
the next month. And there was no township building.
Yeah, like they do have now.
Right. So they said to me, the township supervisors want to appoint you as constable. And I said, all right. Well, I had no training, no equipment. It was just the position, word got out, I was a constable in Sterling Township. And I wanted to show you this. There was no car. I had my own pickup.
Your own pickup, sure.
There was no weapon.
Right.
So
when I went on your own weapon.
When I went on some of the missions that I knew were going to be tough, I had my 357 Magnum, and I wore it on my side.
It's a good weapon.
Well, I never had to use it as far as that goes. Sometimes it helped intimidate. I had a friend I had to pick up. He was in the bar drinking, and we're good friends.
Yeah.
But I had to go in and arrest him and take him to the justice of the peace. But anyway, this was my badge.
There's your badge. Has your name on it and the township. Wow, look at that.
They tried to get me the badge from the constable. Let's see. In Sterling, the previous constable kept the badge.
Thanks for
The one
sharing that with
the one
us.
I took over for, he didn't have a badge.
Mhm.
He just, word was out he was constable.
And he was constable for quite a long time, you said, like 30 years?
No. He was constable maybe, I'm going to say 8 years
8
or
years,
so.
okay.
And then the one before him kept the badge.
Right.
And it basically had the same thing, Sterling Township. He
Mhm.
kept the badge and wouldn't give it up.
Right.
His family have all died now, so
Okay.
there's no idea where the badge is. But
So we were talking before this interview that you worked with the local state police barracks from time to time on certain calls, and some of them would be domestics. You want to talk about some of those?
Once the state police, back in then days, they didn't have the equipment, they didn't have the computers either. So they learned who the constable was, Wilmont, Marine Corps, Vietnam, and all this. So I was talking to them, and they said, "Well, if we need you, we'll call you." Well, within a day or two, I got a call.
And you were how old at this time? Approximately
about 24.
24, and the troopers maybe similar age.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
So you're all about the same age.
Yep. And a couple of the calls, they would call me and they'd say, "We got a problem up in South Canaan."
Right.
And I won't say the fellow's name because you're recording
Sure.
it, but they said, "Do you know him?" And I said, "Yeah, I work with him at one of the local quarries."
Right.
Well, he's got the wife and his 2 kids in the kitchen table, sitting at the table. He's got his rifle. He's going to kill everybody.
Wow, that's pretty serious.
So we get to the house, and the state police said to me, "We're not going in. You know him. You go in."
Right.
So I said, "All right." So I go in, and
So
he's
it's your
there.
job to de-escalate.
He's there with a
situation,
32 special or a 30-30 lever action. And my comment to him was, "Gordy, what the hell are you doing? Man, you're creating a problem here.
Right.
State police are outside. I had to come up here." I said, "Give me that gun." "Oh, I got to have it." I said, "You don't need that gun." They said, "What's going on now? Tomorrow you won't even worry about it." After talking for a while, he handed me the gun. They come in, and I don't know if they arrested him or if they took him to the local district magistrate.
Maybe the magistrate, right?
So that was a keen one. Then I had one, a fellow that I used to drink with and everything. We were buddies.
Right.
And his wife filed a report with the, what was his name, in Sterling there, the magistrate Crosman, with William Crosman. She had her husband basically arrested. Well, they sent me to get him. So I went up and he was in the J&J bar in Hamlin.
Mhm.
I knew his vehicle. I go in and, oh, Wilmot, buddy, have a drink. I said, I can't do that. I said, I'm here to arrest you. What for? I said, your wife filed a complaint with down in Sterling.
Right.
I said, well, he said, come on, we're buddies. Let's have a drink. I said, no, Mill. I said, you're going with me. Let's
Right.
go.
Right.
And I got him by the arm and we went out. I took him down. We went in. There was a hearing. And they found him guilty of.
Right. So those were two different scenarios. One was obviously court related with the magistrate, and the other one was a domestic emergency call that you went in with another agency. So it was interesting that you were involved in different facets of the law enforcement
I had papers that I had to serve now and then.
and papers too. Yeah.
There,
Okay.
there was a time that a fellow had a trucking company, and a local guy stole one of his tractor trailers, and it was loaded with goods.
Mhm.
He come to my house and wanted me to help him get his truck back, and we went down. We found the truck, and we just waited for the guy to come out. And
Mhm.
again, I took him up to the magistrate, and
Mhm.
I don't know what all happened out of that. But the funniest one, another fellow that I worked with at the quarry, he was beating on his wife. And she called, oh, you got to save me. He's beating me and all this. So I go to their house and I got my handcuffs out. I had handcuffs. I bought handcuffs. Right. And I said to him, I said, hey, this is no good. You're in trouble. I said, I got to arrest you and take you up to Sterling. And I put the handcuffs, just putting the handcuffs on him, and holy jeez. This woman jumped on my back,
Right.
started beating me on the head.
Right.
I love him. You can't take him. You can't take him. And eventually, I got her off my back, got her calmed down, and I said, "Look, just go up. We'll talk to the magistrate and
Right.
see if we can settle this."
Right.
They're both dead now, anyway.
Right.
But,
So you worked with the state police in terms of discussing procedure and things like that. They were helpful to you in understanding the role of the constable. I think you
well,
mentioned
I
that.
picked up a lot from them.
From them, yes.
And it was a good situation, and I was constable. I got it written down here from the last November and December of '66. I think the '74 or '75. I was reappointed again. Every year when the supervisors reorganized,
Mhm.
I wasn't on the ballot far as the people voted me in.
Right.
They appointed me when they did their redistricting and all.
Right. Mhm.
But anyway, I was 66 to 75,
Okay.
and the difference between you and I, we're in a different world now.
Right.
This basically tells.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. There's a lot more equipment, a lot more.
Well, you
liability
got
and
more
stuff.
stuff on now than I
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you this.
Okay. Thank you.
I want you to have my card.
Oh, thank you very much.
And one of the best things about it, I went, I died, I'm still here.
I'm still here. Wow.
A lot of Vietnam veterans are the same way. Lucky for me, let me think. Oh dear, in '98, I went 30 some years basically an alcoholic. The only way you could sleep at all, because you had these memories, nightmares, was just drink enough that you went home and went to bed. And it went on real bad, so I bottomed out, and then they actually sent me away. I went to Wilkes-Barre VA, and they sent me down to Lyons, New Jersey.
Right.
For 14 weeks, I was inpatient in the hospital in
Right.
Lyons, New Jersey. And I come out of there, there's no way you'll ever cure PTSD.
Right.
You can teach the individual how to handle certain
Treat it, but you
situations.
can't cure it.
Treat it. There's no cure. I don't care who tells you this. Once you have to KOBK on top of my card, KOBK, kill or be killed.
Right.
When you're faced with that situation,
Yeah.
plus the medevacs, were just guys my age, all shot up, arms ripped off, legs. I had one fellow, we went in on a medevac, and we were supposed to pick up one. We fly in, they had 5 they carried up and just threw them in my helicopter. They weren't treated or nothing. They couldn't. Well, I'm on my gun. We're getting fire on the way out. I'm returning fire. Once we cleared the zone and we got a little ways up the roadway, I looked down, and this one guy was laying, and I could see, as he was breathing, you'd see the blood foam. I knew it was a chest wound.
Right.
Well, he reached up his hand towards me. I reached down, and I held his hand. I still had my gun, my M60, and he squeezed real hard. I looked down, he's looking at me, and he died.
Mhm.
I wasn't his mother, his father,
Right.
his girlfriend. There I was with this ugly helmet on with my visor and all that. That's all he saw when he left this world. I'm hoping someday to meet up with him and just.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we thank you for your service in the military and in law enforcement and for sharing your stories with us. And it was just fascinating meeting somebody from my county who served in the office that long ago, and that you could still be here today to recall some of these
I'm
stories in your
81
history.
now,
You're
so,
81. Well,
yeah.
you know, thank you so much for
There's
meeting
hope.
with me today.
There's hope for us all, right?
Absolutely. All right.
But,
All right,
no,
guys. That's it.
anything you want to repeat, you
Okay.
got my permission.
You got it. Thank you, Don.